Wait, no. I got one thing to say to you before you give me your spiel. So I did watch LSU versus Florida. I watched parts of it, and I have to admit, I have to applaud Jayden Daniels' performance for putting up 600 yards. And at week 11, I think I've come to the point, Blake, where I'm willing to admit that in a year where no one has separated, there has not been a guy on one of the top teams that has done enough that I think that Jayden Daniels deserves the win the Heisman. But Blake, I don't think that he's going to win it. I don't think he's going to win it. I think that he deserves it after what he did. But we got to be honest with ourselves. They're going to pick somebody on one of the teams that's in the college football.
I don't think that they will.
They're just notorious for picking just really lame options.
Who?
The voters. I feel like that they're.
But who would they pick?
Penix, Nix, or Beck. I feel like they're going to end up just. Here's the thing. A lot of these voters start paying attention in the final couple weeks. I don't think a lot of them were watching LSU Florida. And I think a lot of them are probably watching all these big premier important games that Georgia is playing in, that Washington's playing in, and that Oregon's playing in. And I think a lot of them are going to pick those three guys.
Dude that had 600 yards of offense.
Look, I'm just pointing out the issues with the voting.
All right. Well, I'm just going to say this. Jayden Daniels has 4,000 yards of total offense. He leads in every statistical category. I don't think it's his fault that his defense is ass.
It's not. It's not. I'm willing to admit that. I'm willing to admit, and I the whole time, the whole season, I was negative about it.
I'm so proud of you.
Shut up. You're ruining this. I think that if he beat Alabama, I would have absolutely come to the table and said that he deserved to get it. But the problem was he got knocked out. But to turn around and put up 600 yards of offense,
here's the problem I would say about him getting knocked out. Of all the dudes that you mentioned that would be up at the podium, even though Jayden Daniels got out, he still had more yards and touchdowns last week than they did.
Yeah.
Right? And I do believe that the last 2 weeks, Joe, in the last 2 weeks, he's had 1,000 yards, total yards, 1,000. He's got 10 touchdowns, almost. I think maybe it was 9. Okay? He's been insane. Like, here's what does it for me, okay? It's not that he has elite wide receivers on the outside. It's not necessarily all the yards that he's getting with the running. It's, Joe, did you see that 85-yard run that he had last night?
Yes.
That DB runs a 4.5, 4.4, and he left him.
Yeah.
Like, he left him, okay? And so I just don't think that there's a dude in the country that so if he's got the same amount of numbers that Penix and Nix do throwing the football, Joe, he's going to have 1,000 yards rushing, double-digit touchdowns on the ground already. If you're that biased, okay, if you're that biased and you want to vote against him because of team losses, it is what it is. But he is the best player in the country.
I don't disagree with that. I think that it's very reminiscent to the year that Lamar Jackson won it. I think that you could pull up the performances. Now, Lamar Jackson, didn't he have like an 8 touchdown game or something insane like that?
But you know what he did? Do you know what he doesn't have? Can I tell you what he doesn't have?
What?
A ranked win.
Yeah, I don't think Lamar Jackson did. I think you're right. And Jayden Daniels has one. He's got one ranked win.
And the losses are on the road. And again, Joe, if I put up the splits of his home and road, you couldn't tell the difference. That's what no player ever has had 300 yards in the first half on Nick Saban ever.
I don't disagree with it anymore, man. I don't. I just feel like right now the national conference. Look at all these national pundits that put out these lists. Jayden Daniels is usually at 5 or lower.
Yeah,
that's where my concern is.
I think they're hosing you.
I feel like when Lamar Jackson won it, and when RG3 won it, they were both like at the top of the list.
Did you know that RG3 was 7th this time when he won it in the voting polls?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I went and looked that up today.
Wonder where Lamar Jackson was. That's probably the most comparable.
Number 1.
Right. He was number 1 and nobody thought twice.
No, because remember when he hurdled that dude against Syracuse?
Yes.
Yeah, and
It
everybody
was over.
It was over. When he hurdled that dude, it was over. All right, Joe, it's been a really good show.